Hello, this is David Geckle from Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm a Leeds United fan. And we're back, bitches, and we're never fucking leaving. And you're listening to the DU Football Show.
If I'm gonna do
what
it,
an asshole!
If I'm gonna talk shit, I'm gonna talk shit right to your fucking face, right? And I do this all the time, from time to time on this show. I fuck around, and I just like, you're right. You're never gonna leave.
I'm at the football league.
You're never gonna leave the championship. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Snub of my lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to DU Does the EFL because, I said the. Damn it, I did it wrong. DU Does EFL. A completely biased brief recap of, it won't be brief this week because, we have somebody who actually gives a shit about this, of the English Football League as told by three common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me is, the young hot freshness. Hiram, how you doing, good sir?
My back and hip hurts, but I'm not young no more.
Oh, heard that. You're still young, hot, and fresh. I got you, man. You're my boy, Blue. I got you. And, of course, the pre-mentioned one person that gives a shit about this, David Geckle. Why is that, Geck?
Marching on together.
Yes, we are actually going to talk a lot of championship today because we got somebody, who got a little bit better perspective than I do. So perfect to have you here, by the way, Mr. Geckle.
I'm glad to be here and shed some knowledge. Drop some knowledge on your asses.
Heard it. And, of course, on the ones and twos, Producer Mel. How you doing there, Producer Mel?
Feeling younger by the show.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get podcasts and, of course, streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there's many ways that you can. Hiram, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
You can reach out to us on our socials at DU Football Show in the same way to our email at dufootballshow@gmail.com.
Excellent. And you know what? We are not drinking the exact same shit. We are still drinking the same whiskey, which was really damn good. But Geck, his personal friends refer to him as such, Geck, was so gracious as to swing by one of his favorite breweries in Columbia, Maryland, and got a bevy of brews.
A bevy of brews is my favorite phrase.
And Mr. Geckle, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about what we're drinking for this show?
Sapwood is one of my favorite breweries, and I hadn't been in a while, and this was the tiniest of excuses that I needed to get my ass over there.
Pour.
Mm-hmm. But so I'll start with a little tiny story. So Leeds played Derby on Boxing Day at Derby, and we have a Japanese midfielder named Ao Tanaka, and his parents ended up on the coach with the away fans, and they were drinking cans with his parents. So in honor of that, I got a rice pilsner called Repose.
Yeah.
It says, I'll let you in on a little brewer secret. We don't add rice to save money. It costs more than barley. We add it to create an extra crisp, extra pale, more refreshing pilsner. Rather than mimicking a traditional American or Japanese macro lager, we stuck to a more traditional sapwood pilsner hopping schedule with a dose of Mutika in the whirlpool for both spicy and tropical hop notes.
You're gonna ask me about pronunciations?
So
No.
So that
I'll commit to the wrong one every time.
So that obviously is
Popcorn. I get a popcorn flavor immediately.
A shot at Budweiser because
No.
people know Budweiser uses rice. Well, no, they said we don't just use it because it's cheaper. We use it for flavor. Unlike macro breweries in America and Japan, because a lot of the Japanese beers are rice-based as well.
I really like this.
This drink's champagne-y. It's very clean. It's very crisp. It's really good.
Yeah, it's definitely not like a Sapporo or a Bud Light or a Budweiser.
The rice comes through with a popcorny flavor or almost a kind of brown buttered rice flavor. on the back nose, but it's just so clean. It's fucking yummy.
Popcorn is an excellent fucking shout. It has
Nailed it,
that.
yeah.
That is a great fucking shout.
I try to take a sip of this while, like, when Graham or you are describing something, because I want to see if I can guess before I hear the description. And the first thing that came to my mind was popcorn. And when you said rice, I was like, fuck yeah, I get it. I like rice beverages. Rice wine, sake. I love all of them.
Yeah, this is a lovely beer. Hiram,
I would love to get drunk in Korea.
Hiram, what do you think?
Pan.
Nah, I'm too tall.
Now I just want some fucking popcorn with it. No, this is really good. I'm a fan, especially because like I like paler ales as well too. So
Okay, I don't want to insult the beer, but I really want to cook hot dogs in this.
Not fucking wrong.
Like a really good hot dog. Like if you accidentally did not finish a can of this beer and was like, fuck, what do? I would 100% cook a hot dog in it. I think it would change the flavor.
Yeah, you're talking like a hot dog you get from a butcher, or say like a boar's head natural casing dog.
I mean, yeah, we'll say it's going to be that. You and I both know it's going to be the fucking Nathan's in the freezer.
I mean, I'll leave a can here. I won't leave a can here for 3rd of July, and we'll
Good
see what
answer.
happens. Yeah.
Good answer. I love that, especially 3rd of July. I won't leave.
This would be a good base for like a beer cheese soup too. This has got a lot of. I really like this.
Geck, have you had this one before from them, or?
I have not. So they kind of don't really have core beers. But they kind of do certain beers at the same time every year, or like quarterly or whatever.
Right.
But I actually have not seen this one before. I don't think I've seen them drink it down either.
I think even non-beer drinkers would enjoy this.
Well, for the rest of the show,
It's so
the reason
easy
why
to
I said
drink.
2 cans is I figured we'd probably be having a little more. So,
I really want some fucking.
Producer Mel, would you like more?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Might as well.
Hiram, more?
I just want popcorn.
All right, Hiram, if you like after the show, I can make you some popcorn. I have the ability.
Rest of the can is yours.
Oh, thank you.
And we're going to pause for popcorn.
Environmentally friendly. Although I already have a can, so it's
Yeah. So it's just a whole bevy of.
Oopsie daisy. That was empty.
Okay, good.
Is that all we're drinking?
Oh, yeah, that's
For
all
now.
we're drinking. So
For now.
Championship corner.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh, no.
I don't want to stop your groove. Hey, Mr. Geckle, what else should we always do?
What? Sorry.
What
the bell
else
is
should
still
we
up.
always do?
Remember to drink responsibly.
Very good. I love it. All right. So there has been 3 sets of fixtures since we have last done this show, because the championship is brutal. It's like, oh, the Premier League, we have to play once every
It's the
4
festive period.
Right. But there's been 3 games in essentially 8 days for fucking the championship. I mean, it is just brutal.
6
It is
days.
one
Thursday
after
to Wednesday. Yeah.
one after another after another. It's just fucking insanity. And then it doesn't get any easier when you tie in like the FA Cup and things like that. It's like, so when in January at the end of the month, where we're doing a show every single Monday because the Prem is back to a regular rotation, the championship will be playing weekend and Wednesday games. That's just what it is. It's absolute fucking insanity.
When there's a Champions League match day, there's a championship match day as well.
Yeah, exactly. So Leeds sit at the top of the league, and they have had a very good run of fixtures with 7 points, 2 wins, and a draw. But there are 3 clubs in the hunt, and those all of those clubs have held the top spot at one point or another. We have Burnley, Sunderland, and Sheffield United. Really what I kind of want to talk to you about, and obviously this is going to be more Leeds-centric because that's who you support. All 4 of these clubs have really held a chunk of time at the top of the table, and it feels like this is a 4-horse race for 2 automatic promotion spots. What I tend to do with the show is, I keep up on highlights, and I constantly check and see what the scores are and things like that, but I'm not watching the league.
Yeah.
You are watching the league. What can you say about these 4 teams? Obviously, start with yours, but then talk about the other 3 as well.
Well, I'll move the dessert at the end with the real, the real team to worry about.
Whatever way you want to do it.
Yeah. So I would say, like, I think Borough is the sleeping kind of
Burnley. You mean?
Or
you said Borough.
Borough is kind of the one that out of these. Outside of the 4.
Borough. Yeah, Middlesbrough. I was thinking Borough, the League 2 side. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I think Borough might be the secret, like, could break into that top kind of automatic promotion or, kind of get into 3rd place and people go, oh, Borough, look at them. So I'd say this year it's a lot different than last year when you had Leicester, Ipswich, Leeds, Southampton. Like, those 4 teams were far and away, like, way better than everyone else.
Right.
Like, I think Sheffield, Burnley, and Sunderland are better than everyone else, but not at the same level.
Right.
Like, you look at Burnley, I would say definitely Burnley and Sheffield, the attack just isn't there. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not going to score 3 goals, maybe more than a couple times a season, but they can, just put the clamp down defensively. Like, Burnley have only allowed, I think, 9 goals so far this year. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that is, James Trafford. Mm-hmm. And we talked a lot about him last year. Like, he might be he's the heir apparent and all that. But I think, at a certain point, sometimes, like, you're going to give up a crap goal and you're down 1-0. And I don't know if those are the kind of teams that can turn that into a win. They can probably nick a draw. Mm-hmm. But I don't feel that they have the potential to really run away.
Where you feel like, obviously, Leeds sent a bit of a scoring machine. They could figure out a way. If they go down 1-0, they could still win 3-1.
Yeah, it feels more that they have the attacking prowess to kind of, especially at home, like they have, I believe, like 2 draws and a loss, but they're usually just dominant at home. And
I do not know what producer Mel is doing.
I need to focus.
All right, so there's a plane that just flew low overhead. Hiram and I looked at each other like, wow, we can hear that. And then so I said, no, it's a drone. And that was me doing the sign language for drone.
Okay, I thought you were just doing Puppet Master and being like, Geck, dance, fucking puppet dance.
I didn't know what the fuck this was. I thought you were doing like the fucking claw from Toy Story trying to get like the aliens.
That's a drone. That's what it is. Drone.
So I guess like Burnley have given up 9 goals in half a season. Like that's just not sustainable unless you're like prime. Well, okay, Hiram, I'm gonna give you some credit. Like that Chelsea team that gave up like 14 in a season.
Right,
like they're not fucking that.
Right.
Even at the championship level. So I think it's like they're gonna drop points here in the second half of the season. And then, because everyone drops points.
Well, it just gets daunting.
Yeah.
It's such a daunting league to play in. It's so... People talk about, like West Ham had gone down and Newcastle had gone down, and you listen to their supporters talk about when they went down. And although both teams came in first and went right the fuck back up, they were like, dude, like, it's just different down there. It is tough.
Same with Brighton. They were down there for a while, and they would be around the playoffs or get in the playoffs, and like it took them like probably 5 seasons to finally make it to the Prem. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I was looking at last year, like Leicester and Southampton and Ipswich and Leeds were all kind of like transcendent championship teams. Mm-hmm. Like they were up there with some of the better ones that have ever played in the championship, and they still have close to like double-digit losses.
Right.
So you're just, even the best teams are getting, they're going to lose 10 times a season.
And the one you haven't mentioned, Sunderland, your thoughts on them?
So I think they lost their best attacking player, Jack Clark, and they seemed to be better. Like Joe Bellingham, who was Jude Bellingham's brother, has been like one of the best players in the championship, and they have a 17-year-old whose name I can't remember, but he was really good against Leeds. And so I watched the highlights for Sunderland, Sheffield, and they said that Sheffield has the youngest average starting age and Sheffield has the 4th youngest starting age. Mm-hmm. So do they have, Leeds was kind of a young team last year, and they reached the top they had a game in hand, but they were on top at the international break in March, and then it kind of fell apart. So it's like, do they have the kind of the stamina to make it through the whole season?
Now,
I think they've kind of already started to, like, once they were up top, they've dropped a lot of points recently.
Right.
But that was a big win at home against Sheffield this weekend.
Well, you kind of talked about a little bit about, seeing teams kind of regressing to the pack. And I think let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the teams that are behind them, because
Sure.
It's 4 teams, and those 4 teams are all familiar fucking faces, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Borough, it's West Brom, it's Watford, it's Blackburn, and just behind them, it's Wednesday. So it's like, it's teams that have been in and around it before. Do you, you already hinted at Borough, do you think that some of these other clubs could sneak their way up and around too, and maybe a Burnley or a Sheffield or a Sunderland kind of fall out?
So I think Borough's the clear best of the rest. But I kind of felt that way last year too. And
I was just about to mention that.
Sometimes just having the attack isn't enough.
Borough has had a couple of times now where they start the season like dog shit, and then they come crushing back up the league and then figure out a way to fuck it off. And I kind of feel like they started this year dog shit too. And it's like, now they're up and around it. And it's like, can they actually be sustainable and stick around?
I guess it's tough because they have good attacking players, and those are the kind of players that people want to buy. So they had Chuba Akpom, I think the year before Leeds went down, and he went to Ajax. So like, if Ajax comes calling and you're in the championship, you're gonna fucking leave 100 times out of 10,
Right.
And now they have another striker, Latte Lath, who's like a top 5 in goal scoring, and people are sniffing around him. It's just so hard to maintain a club because there's no money. Everybody in the championship is basically running at a deficit,
right?
Because you got to pay Premier League wages to get Premier League players to get promoted to the Premier League.
Make a reference back to the first season of Welcome to Wrexham. You have to spend League One money when you're in the National League just to get to League Two.
Exactly.
You're just, like you said, running on a deficit. That's what you're doing.
But the joke about West Brom is they just draw. So there's something, I don't know why, but they every time if you bet a draw on West Brom every week, you'll be a millionaire.
Well, and
until I said this,
for them too, they had the American Daryl DK, who obviously suffered the bad injury last season. He's still out.
Yeah.
The big thing I've been hearing about West Brom, and again, you've got more of a finger on the pulse than I do, is that apparently the manager is turning a lot of heads for the most part.
So he just went to Valencia.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I'm not sure who they have now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a Leeds guy. He managed the U21s when Bielsa was there. So I was kind of hoping they would have gotten him instead of Farka before they actually, just because he was under Bielsa.
Right.
So anybody even remotely connected to Bielsa, I'm like, yeah, get him in.
Yeah, keep it running. Well, I mean, particularly too with Bielsa, it worked brilliantly until it didn't, which is honestly the MO for Bielsa. Right?
He also said they needed to refresh the squad, and they didn't refresh the squad, and he was right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So turning our attention towards the bottom of the table, one of the teams that myself and Sam have an affinity for and we like to follow is Portsmouth Pompey. Lost a couple of games, but their most recent one is the only one that matters, and that was a 4-0 win over Swans. So they still sit just outside of the relegation zone. Dead last now is Plymouth. Yeah. And then you have Cardiff and, God, is it still Hull? I think it's still Hull.
I think they just got out of it. I just looked at this.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you named a couple of clubs, I'd figure.
Well, it's...
Who is down there?
God,
yeah, Cardiff's bad. Plymouth's bad. Oxford's just barely out of it.
Yeah, Oxford. Oxford's the one. They're the one. It's Oxford. Okay. Yeah, it's one of the newly promoted sides. It's Oxford. And for me, I just want to see Pompey fucking, I want to see Pompey stay up simply because I want a South Coast derby next year.
Yeah,
Southampton's definitely going down, Well, and the other good news is that there'll be an Old Farm derby again because
there sure will. Yeah,
because Ipswich will go down. The one thing we do currently have as far as great rivalries that no one knows anything about other than English supporters is we do still have Burnley Blackburn, and people don't know anything about that one. That's the original 12.
Yeah,
like that is 1800s fucking rivalry. like Everton Liverpool. We're like, yeah, that's a rivalry. It ain't fucking Blackburn and Burnley, man. That is old fucking wool fucking factory goddamn rivalry is what that is.
Oh yeah, when Burnley went up, I think they did it at Blackburn. They clinched it, and that was like, if you're a Burnley supporter, it can't get any better than that.
Oh, it's perfect. The one thing I do want to do here, obviously, your team is in the championship currently. Hiram, are there any guys on loan currently? I want to say, I think his first name's Alfie. He was a kid with he was the kid who scored against Everton when you just fucking trashed us last year 7-0. He was the one who came on and scored in stoppage time. Yeah. He's at Sheffield right now, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's currently at Sheffield right now. He's pretty much like a hybrid between like a center back and right back, but they've been playing him more on the right back side over at Sheffield. Throughout 24 appearances, he's been pretty much prevalent within on the entire team. Like, he started 22 matches, been in the squad for 25, and only been on the bench for just one match in total. So far, he has 2 assists and pretty much has like 1,784 minutes total. So,
defender, you're not looking for points out of him. If he's not the set piece guy, and if he's doing a hybrid between outside back and center back, like center backs will be up there for corners, but an outside back is going to be either taking the kick or all the way in the back, right? At midfield, waiting for the ball to come in. And
then kind of looking into like how his development could lead into potentially him being on the first team. I could see it possibly if like Reece James probably makes his way out, mainly because of course of the constant instant injuries and everything. With Gusto, of course, being the main guy, and then God forbid we had to put the Accy back out there, but I think I actually wanted him to stay just so he can get more development, especially with the first team, especially under Enzo. But then it does make more sense for him to get more full-time first team play underneath like a different league, but still underneath like the EFL pyramid as well too.
Well, and as Geck talked about, just a team that really lives off of defense, that means more work for him, and that he's showing versatility in positions. That helps because, you might not get a ton of minutes, but if you're someone who could play multiple positions on the defense, you're someone that if you are on the Premier League side, you're penciled in on the bench because it's like, instead of putting a right back and a center back on my bench, I can put him on my bench and he can fill in. If I need him, I've got him.
Because I've got 500 attackers and ways that I need to get on.
Exactly. Anybody else?
Yeah, we do have another defender at Burnley, Bashir Humphreys. He's another center back, but also a hybrid player, plays on both the left and right side as well, too. He's been starting for 14 matches, been in the squad for 22, but he subbed in for at least 5 of those matches. Been suspended for just 1. I believe it was just because of a red card. It was a red card indictment that he got, and yes, about the same numbers for him as well too. Just 1 assist for him in total. Again, being on that left or right side as far as like playing outside back. But yeah.
All right, excellent. As we wrap up the championship, Geck, how do you feel? Do you feel like Lars and our fantasy wagyu we're going up as fucking champions, or do you think that somebody can sneak up on you?
If I was a neutral, I would say Leeds are far and away the best team in the championship. Just you look at the numbers and you look at how they play. They're just they're 10 shoulders above Sheffield and Burnley.
And that's also considering you lost massive fucking pieces to the Prem.
They did, yeah.
Big fucking players got signed away from you this season.
But I think they did a good job of maybe not getting like players at that level, but similar. But there's also more squad depth. So I'll say we'll win the league.
Okay, very good.
Very good. I think if you look at the advanced metrics, they have the best defense. They got the best attack, and even looking at just goals for, goals against, they have the best. They have the most goals, and then they're, I think, like third in goals against. Mm-hmm. So, as long as if they put away more of their simple chances, and Melier stops fucking up, they should just keep what they've been doing, and just walk their way to the title.
Have we still figured out the physics of how the ball went through Melier's chest for a fucking goal?
I think it did.
I'm still baffled by that one.
I think it did take a weird hop, but he was too concerned about, I need to lay on the ball and fucking delay.
It somehow went through the center of his chest and then into the back of the net. I don't know how that worked.
I will say Melier has been a concern because he's young for a keeper, but he's been, excuse me, he's been starting for 4 seasons, and it doesn't seem like he's getting better. I still don't particularly trust him on crosses. There's a few shots that look like they were pretty much right at him that he didn't keep out.
There will be keepers to be found if you go up. Like, you can find a Ramsdale or a Dubravka. Like, there'll be a keeper you could find. Or even in the case of, say, like Brighton, Van Brogen has pretty much been the guy. So Steele is a guy that'll be there. So there'll be experienced, quote unquote, Premier League keepers that you can bring in to do the job. Now, what you have to hope for is it's not like Muric, who completely sucks ass, and fucks it off for you.
And then doesn't play, and I lose a Christian in fantasy.
That'll be on injury time. And should somebody want to find injury time, Mr. Geckle, how do they go about doing it?
Just go to patreon.com/DU Football Show, or type in / whatever slash, it's some slash, or type in DU Football Show Patreon in your search bar in your internet. It'll pop up.
See, I like that little
I would
value
be like, hey,
add.
look, there's a link. Scroll down. Wherever you found this, there's a link right there.
Who cares? It's // from Guns N' Roses. It's a slash.
If we titled the show / from Guns N' Roses would be the fucking title of this
Look
one.
at the old man with a reference.
In League One, Reading has rattled off 3 wins and currently sit in 5th place. And Barnsley have been just as good on a run, and they sit in 6th. Now, here's the one... Geck, I know you listen to this show, so you're already kind of familiar with what's going on with Reading. And this is a staple championship side currently in League One. Hiram, just to give you a little fill-in, their owner, he likes to play rich, but his family is rich.
Got it.
Chinese family that owns multiple clubs.
Okay.
The sister is the one who knows what the fuck she's doing and has real money.
Sounds about right.
He has his plaything, which is Reading, and he has fucked it off now for a good 4 or 5 years and has no money. and it's been so bad that the manager left Reading, that was in, at the time, 6th place, for 19th place Hull City in the championship. So he literally went from, I might be right back in this league next year if things don't go well, because it's that fucking bad. Yeah.
Breaking news is in the drop zone, because whatever I looked at must have been from a fixture before.
Yeah. So they've been an absolute mess, right? And again, this is a team that is like, think of Reading as the Everton of the championship, right? They're not a team that ever goes up or ever goes down. They're always around. They're always in it. Particularly, Geck, you could talk about it, just knowing your experience with the championship. Like, they're part of the fucking furniture.
Yeah, there's always some terrible midweek fixture at Reading that would never work out well for Leeds.
Right. And they have... Since the manager leaving, they went on a run of like 3 in a row of losses. So to hear them get 3 in a row of wins, it's like, shit, even with all the cards stacked against you. Now, there's another concern, which I'll get to in a second. It's like, you kids are fucking figuring it out. Now, the playoffs are the playoffs, and getting through the playoffs, as you know very well, anything can happen at Wembley. anything can happen at Wembley.
Well, if you're
even
not
the better
Leeds,
team.
you got a chance. If you're Leeds, you're gonna lose.
And for them, the thing I was going to say is, as we come into January, he's in a super amount of debt. So he's going to likely sell all of his pieces. Yeah. He's just going to sell a bunch of fucking people because he needs to make money and he desperately needs to sell the club. But he pulls the Mike Ashley bullshit where people offer him money for the club and he goes, no, my club is worth 10 times more than that. And you're like, no, fuck off, asshole. You need money, right? And, but they're also on a transfer ban, so they can't bring anybody in. So I don't know how much longer they're going to stick around where they are. We've got a buddy of ours who's also an Annapolis Blues supporter. His name's Colin, and he's a huge Reading guy. And he's been, everything I'm telling you right now, 100% from Colin. He's been keeping me informed on everything. But that's one of those teams. I've never been a massive interest of Reading, but it's just now that I know everything that's been going on there, I'm like, every week I'm like, how'd Reading do? What's going on with them? Well, every week, like every 3 days, I'm like, how'd Reading do? Because it doesn't get much easier for them either. Now, at the top of the league, we have Wickham, right? We're going to pronounce them correctly because we're not going to pronounce the other one correctly. And Birmingham are still sitting even on points, even though Wickham has the goal differential. Wrexham, still the darlings and still just climbing up the table, are only 2 points back with them. The O's, everybody's favorite second London club, Leyton Orient, have moved into 8th fucking place. What the fuck are the O's doing being good? I mean, this is typically a team that's in the National League or League Two, and look at them, 8th fucking place.
Yeah, this is about their level. I've never seen them in the championship, but yeah, I mean, I'm always if it's I'm an Orioles fan, so the O's usually not a success.
Yeah. Leyton Orient. But the other one I wanted to talk about is Wigan, because Wigan's one of those teams we sometimes see in the Prem and we see in the Championship a lot. They're sitting right in mediocrity, right in 16th place.
Yeah, it seems like when they went down from the Championship, once you go down, if you don't get right back up, it kind of goes bad and you're stuck. Like, perfect example is Stoke. So the year they went down, this was the first Bielsa season, and part of it when Leeds beat them on the first day of the season, they're like, holy shit, Stoke just came down from the Prem, we're amazing, blah blah blah. But part of it was Stoke was terrible. We also were amazing, but Stoke went down to 16th, 17th, and they haven't gotten up from that since.
For me, the perfect examples of going out of the Championship into League One and then just being there forever, Sunderland, Pompey. When Pompey went into administration and went all the way down to League Two, they got up to League One, and they were in League One for 10 years.
Yeah, and they were in the playoff. Yeah.
Before they finally got a promotion.
Yeah.
Sunderland was down there for 5 years. Sunderland reminded me of when Villa went down to the Championship, and it was just they were in and around it, but they weren't getting back up, and then they finally got back. I feel like Sunderland will now stay in the Championship, much like I feel like Villa will now stay in the Premier League. But going down to League One can just be fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Do want to check in on both of your clubs, though. Hiram, anybody down on loan in League One?
Yeah, we have a goalkeeper, Eddie Beach, Welsh native, and Welsh and English native, I should say. He actually has not had any game time at all.
Just sitting on the bench.
Mainly, if he's not sitting on the bench, he's sitting on the hospital table because he's sometimes injured for some reason. But I think he has at least one match played in the cup competition. But
where's he at, by the way?
Crawley Town.
Oh, Crawley Town. Okay,
Yeah.
Very good. Anybody else?
That's all we got.
No, cool. Got
So
anybody?
Leeds have Sonny Perkins. He's on loan at the O's, actually.
Oh, very good.
He hasn't done much, and he's out of contract at the end of the year. So I'm not sure.
You expect to stick around.
No.
He will probably find himself playing in League One next year on a free.
Yeah, he was a highly touted prospect. I know Smokey was mad when we got him because he came out of the West Ham academy, but just never really kicked on.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough to break through from the youth level, being good at the youth level, to, you know, being good at the professional level.
Yeah, very good. All right, well, finally, League Two. Walsall is now just running away with it, right? So there's one team that's still kind of hanging around, but they're 12 points back, which is Doncaster.
Yorkshire, baby, let's go.
Well, also, too, Doncaster famously last season was in dead last at one point and then rattled off something like in their last 20 matches had like 15 wins, 1 loss, and 4 draws and made it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Got to the final and then lost in the final on penalties.
Yeah.
So they're there, second place. You know what? Second place is automatic promotion.
Also, one of the members of One Direction fan of them. I can't remember which one, but one of them is.
And but the big one would be Port Vale, who have been sinking like a stone. They have not won since November. And that was the team that was in first place for a while. They were
Man City.
Yeah, they were even still in first. Exactly, the Man City of League Two, and they were actually in. They were in first place still at the start of December, even with the losing and draw streak. But yeah, they have completely sunk. They are all the way in 5th place now. Now we're going to go down to the bottom of the table because that's what really matters. We care about Accy, Accrington Stanley, exactly. You know. They are still 2 points ahead of Morecambe. That's the reason why I'm going to mispronounce it, because
Shrimps out.
Shrimps out, baby. Shrimps out for Morecambe and Carlisle. But Tranmere and Harrogate are between them. They're level on points, but Accy actually have the goal differential. So, real quick for you boys, are there any teams in the 3 leagues? Obviously, Geck, we already know Leeds. But are there teams that you kind of have an affinity for? Are there anybody you kind of want to see do well? Like, we really love Bolton here and, you know, Pompey and teams like that. Or is there anybody you kind of like on the side?
I would be remiss to not say Wrexham, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, with the hype and everything, I want to see how far they can go, especially jumping from National League to League 2, now in League 1. Like, I want to see how far they can progress from here. Mainly just for the story aspect, not even because, like, the, of course, with Ryan Reynolds and Always Sunny guy, I keep forgetting his name.
Rob McElnady.
Yeah.
By the way, Mel, when's that episode of Abbott Elementary that
It
Sunny's going to be on?
is January 8th, the Abbott Elementary, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He has not watched it, Abbott.
No, you're going to love it.
He's going to love it.
I've never watched it either.
Oh,
but I heard about the crossover. Yeah.
So good.
It took me, how many seasons this has been on?
This is the 4th.
4th season to realize there's only been a white kid on once.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and it was the 4th season.
Yeah, and I was like, oh.
How the hell is that show going to handle 4 of the whitest fucking people ever from Sunny? I'm sorry, 5 with fucking, with Danny too.
Oh, it'll mix in well, I'm pretty sure. But
because they're all trash. Not the kids at Abbott.
I know.
Do you know who I feel for the most in this episode coming up?
Melissa?
No.
Who?
Jacob.
Really?
Yes, he's not gonna be okay. He's so sensitive.
Yeah.
He's so sensitive. That poor. He's gonna be like correcting them all the time, and he's so overly politically correct, and he tries so hard, and they're just gonna eat that poor boy alive.
Yeah, oh, Jesus. This is definitely going to be entertaining.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
So just hearing that little snippet makes me think him and Dennis are somehow going to be kindred spirits, simply because Dennis is the exact opposite of that.
In a way, I feel like. Maybe.
I mean, the fashion. They could totally bond over stuff.
I don't know.
Personal grooming.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I can't wait.
But yeah, outside of Wrexham, also Lampard just joined this team as a manager.
Coventry, yeah.
Really, because I like their story. It's a story aspect as well too. But I think it was last season when they made it to the FA Cup semis or something.
Yeah, they did.
They should have been
off by a toenail.
United.
Yeah.
Really should have been the United. Yeah.
But it kept Ten Hag around for a little while longer. So
And look how that turned out.
beautifully.
No, I want to see how well they do as well too. I think they might be middle of the championship, if I'm not mistaken.
They are. They're underperforming their metrics. They're another one their numbers are their advanced stats are better than like Sheffield's and Burnley's.
Gotcha.
But I worry because Frank Lampard sucks.
Well,
and it's
He's
terrible.
not a very good manager.
He's not for sure, but I think this will be definitely another learning experience for Frank because he definitely wants to be like not necessarily a top tier manager, but at least a decent enough manager. So I think this run should
Couldn't be a
help.
decent manager for us. Like the easiest job in the fucking Prem.
Fair.
They do have an American, Haji Wright, who I think has been a little banged up this year, unfortunately, but he's still their leading goal scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard much from him all season so far.
So Geck, anybody you like beyond obviously Leeds?
I mean, I think just like Sunderland should be in the Prem. Sunderland and Leeds both should be in the Prem.
We all need a Tyne-Wear.
Like fucking Bournemouth, get your
Need a
11,000
Tyne-Wear.
seat stadium and poontang it ass down to League One.
Yeah.
You know, that's where it belongs. But Harrogate, who Leeds are actually playing in the FA Cup, never been relegated from EFL because they just joined League Two like 4 seasons ago for the first time. But they are.
Well, they're in and around it at the drop right now.
So they are pretty close. They're probably one of the closest clubs to Leeds, and everyone there is basically a Leeds fan. So the one club that doesn't hate Leeds.
Okay.
But it's also where the rich footballers live. It's like the posh area of the north.
It. Very good. Very good. All right. Well, that was parting words, by the way, boys. That was my question for you. That's going to wrap it up. But next up is injury time, where we're going to go ahead and preview the weekend's action. We're going to talk about the beers we've been drinking. Yes, there's going to be more beers. And check in on our fantasy team. Geck, should somebody want to do that, how do they go about doing it? One more time.
So that would be patreon.com/DU Football Show, or just type in DU Football Show Patreon in your internet search provider of choice, and it'll pop right up.
Or as Mel likes to say, just scroll down. Scroll down. What you're listening to right now, scroll down. It's right there. Just click on it.
But maybe
Link.
scrolling up might be closer, so you do whatever you want.
All right, everybody. Till next week.